Hi everyone, welcome back to the studio. We're continuing on with our acrylic wildflower challenge. Last week I told you that we will probably do some cosmos, and I think we'll go ahead and do that today. I'm going to show you first, first before I get going, there is, if you go to our channel and you search the videos, okay, search for cosmos. I did one, I guess it was about 2 years ago or so, that I did it completely global. So everything was wet, and I used a wipeout technique and a completely, totally different technique than what I'm going to use today. So, and it's a 30-minute video, so you may want to go over and watch that to see a completely different way. I paint them a lot of different ways. As a matter of fact, these are some other photos of other cosmos that I have painted over time, and you know, I've sold these, so I don't have the examples anymore, but they're kind of fun. I like to do all kinds of different ways. This is one I just so much admire Paul Delongpre's work. He does a lot of gouache on watercolor paper and vellum, and these are cosmos he painted. I just love his work. But you know, you can find all kinds of inspiration out there. These are just field of cosmos, and you know, I used to out at our Pennsylvania house, we used to just seed out there. We have 3 acres, and I used to just seed, you know, at least an acre of it just to put it out there. Just so pretty to have them come up. Okay, 8x10 board, okay, hardboard, and I gave it a light coat of a medium white color that's made from yellow oxide, some white, and a touch of black, and I didn't even coat it really well, sanded it lightly. My colors, same. I've been painting here today, doing some different filming and everything. This is the Hansa yellow, Darby light yellow, yellow oxide, naphtha red light, burnt sienna, pine green, the phthalo blue, quinacridone violet, red violet, and my white. And I have a little cap of extender out there. Part of the reason is when I do some stroking and stuff on it, sometimes I like to use the extender just to make, not to blend, but just to make the color slide over the surface. You know, I don't need it to make it wet. But the other cosmos, if you go watch that, you will see a completely different way. Okay, so you can go take a look at that. Oh, also, this is one I finished up this morning from one of my online classes. We were doing tonal painting, how to find tones and then turn, you know, reference photos and stuff into a photo. So that's one of the online class pieces there that I really enjoy. So a lot of times when I paint cosmos, I use my old handy dandy trusty number 10 flat. I like that. I think today though I'm going to use a number 6 filbert just to show you some different ways of using it, and that's what I'm a big advocate for. I'm here to show you all different kinds of ways of doing things. All right, okay, let's go in and let's work and manipulate the background a little bit and put some interest in. I'm going to recoat the background here since I do have some holes in it and stuff, and it's not real good here. So I'm going to make maybe a soft, kind of toned, kind of greenish kind of color here, and just kind of spritz that around a bit. See, that's just kind of pretty. I like it when I don't, and I want to get some paint on it. I want to use some paint. And I like it when I don't mix it up real well, so we get a little bit of interest into the background and stuff here, and different colors and modeling and stuff like that. I like that. I don't always like to, you know, I'll even leave some areas, you know, really quite clear of some of this background. I won't, you know, manipulate it all. Let's put in a little bit of our kind of a splash of our blue. Isn't that, that's kind of a pretty color through there. I like that. I like this kind of a blue, and then, you know, if we're going to do some of these, you know, nice red, violet, pink kind of cosmos, that'll be a pretty color in there. Let's just pinch wipe that color out of our brush, and let's just grab some of this this violet. That's real pretty. Now, if you want to tone it down, especially it's going into your background, you reach across the wheel to its complement, which is going to be any kind of yellow-green, is going to tone it down. See how that grays that down just quite quickly here. So we'll gray that down and get a little grungy there. Let's put a little bit of water into this. I was going to use extender there for a minute, but the water, I want it to dry. So let's push some of these colors into the back here and just push them around and smear it around just a bit. And if it starts to dry here at all on you like this area like here is dry before I got there, just take a little bit of water onto your palette here and just go right through it. And that will soften it right back out again, see? Because the color is dry, but it's not cured. So we can do that. We can manipulate it like that. So, and I like that. Let's put in just a splash or two of some more color into that. That would be pretty. So these back here will be just kind of like maybe other cosmos, slightly different. Okay, slightly different here. Okay, so now let's come in and we'll put in a kind of a gray. Let's go with the blue and the burnt sienna here. Kind of a gray color here. Just a few strokes of this, because I'm going to do some white ones too, and so the white ones will be a nice gray. So we'll find a nice, and I look at those two colors together. Those are kind of nice. And let's just place in some of this gray through here, which will indicate back. Can't you see them? You know, it will indicate, you know, back ones in the back. Okay, so let's put that bigger brush away here for just a little bit, and let's go in and we'll go in and specifically start to shape and stuff our cosmos here. So I like that. I'm just going to take a little bit of that blue and push that in there. And that's the nice thing, is you could just take water on your finger here. I love these kind of effects. See this smeary kind of, very, very casual type of effect. I like that, going into the background. Let's do this. Now, the number 6 filbert, the cosmos petals are a little bit longer than some of your other petals of your, other blossoms and stuff. So, and I make them, well, I do them all different kinds of ways, but I'm taking this number 6 and stroking at least 3 times through the flower here. And, sometimes I stroke with like the number 10, like when I do the other one there, multiple times, multiple times, and very, very casual, and use the chisel of the brush to build the painting, So here you can control by just how you turn the flat or to the chisel, the width of some of these petals that you're going to have. Let's darken this down, and let's turn this area right here into a cosmos right here. And so a couple of strokes. Now I can curve them slightly, and you'll see that because the petals are so long, you'll see that in several of them that get a little bit curved in like this, that grow in like this, depending on how you have them turned and stuff. So, but you can lift out and grow, and we can do a shorter petal on this side. That'll let that one just kind of stay that way there. Let's get into some of our quinacridone. If we want to warm that up a little bit, we can add a touch of the naphthol red into this. And let's just put in here a little bit more here of this color. I kind of like this color, but reach in just a slightly warmer here. Just reach in though, and put on color. Just go for it, because this will all advance off the background. We want it to advance off the other background, which is going to really do it through dark color. So we might pick up a bit of the red violet with that to really get some nice darks. So a couple of strokes to make up a petal. There we go, some variation here, like that. That'll make a pretty one. We'll probably put the white one up on top of this. So, but we'll shorten it down here, and then we'll lengthen it back. And you can pull in or out. You've seen me do that on other samples. Sometimes I pull in, sometimes I pull out. To set up different ways with the with the cosmos, or with the different multi-petal flowers. I do that a lot. Let's put a couple almost like buds out here. Maybe maybe more like a bud here, drawing like that. That would be pretty. Let's put just a couple back here, a little softer, just a little blurry like that. Just, you know, the buds are a little rounding bud, just kind of round it up like that. Take a bit of water on your finger and just kind of smear through it. You know, it's just, and it just, all you look for in anything really is the movement, right? We can add another stroke of color, just kind of rounding a bit here. But yeah, keep it very, very casual. And those two are kind of like boom, boom, same kind of size. And that's not real super great there. So I'm going to take my big brush, a little bit of our color here, and just push back a bit and soften that right out. That's a little better. Let's just push a little color. This is the thing I like about painting casual like this, is I can control a lot of things. Okay, into the centers, let's start some of this red-violet contrast right up into these big guys here, right first, and push in and out. Here, just tap that around like that and push in and out. Keep it real casual here. Push in and out. Let's do it up into this one. Push in and out. Okay. And get it out a little further, following a bit. You don't have to be perfect about following the petals. Just push in and out that movement. You know, that curving movement right there like that. Because I'm a big painter of movement more than anything else. I paint very casually, and I love movement of the brush. Okay, so that sets that one in. Let's put some of this dark into this one and push that out. This will go very fast on this one because it's in the same color family. So a little bit maybe like where the center of that one would be, and maybe a touch or so here for a shadow. We can later put on a petal like it's opening up or something like that. Let's before we get going too much further here, Dave, let's go in and take some pine green, some burnt sienna here, and use just the chisel of the brush and add a few little stems through the painting here. And you can, you know, this cosmos doesn't have a really big leaf, and so usually when you're looking at a field of them or something like that, you see a lot of stems. You get a lot of green because the leaves are really small, but yeah, you just little stems more than anything else. So you can do little marks like this here to help. And if you want to get that contrast in there, just little marks here, and blur some out here like that. Okay, and let's get a little bit darker some here just for contrast. Let's get a little lighter. Let's get some yellow green. You know, I'm a big advocate of varying the, even when you're doing little stroke paintings like this, fun little alla prima fun things, varying the greens, vary the greens. You know, that's one of the things that we can always tell a younger, inexperienced painter, because they paint all the leaves the same color. And of course, I did that for years. So I consider myself inexperienced for quite a few years, but I did that for years because it was a habit, because it was just like, you know, and I just did everything the same. And so now I really loosen it up and have some fun. We might even make a little bit more yellow green. What do you think? A little brighter touch here, especially if we're going to go with some nice light flowers. Let's put a few little touches of a brighter little yellow green in there. That might be kind of pretty. And you can, to the white ones, you can blur a little bit of that yellow green into the white ones. That'll make them pretty. Here we go. Even just some green out into like this one, blurred in and out. And see, it's kind of dry there, but the petal is not. The petal's not dry. So I just take a little bit of water, put it on there. Make sure your finger is kind of clean, and just push, and that'll put the two of them together there. See? So yeah, so I just kind of tone that all down there like that. Okay. All right. So let's go in. Have our gray. Let's warm it up just a bit. We're going to go to our whites. So we'll warm this up. We'll start out a little bit lower in value here, not the pure white yet. We'll do this a couple times. Let's it's going to be a little lighter than that though. Probably up here, always have your value scale around. So probably up here around an 8 or so. Depends on the colors of your background and what you use. And what I'll do is I'll just use kind of the chisel of the brush here and paint each petal in a couple of strokes. Now sometimes I'll push in and out just to get that movement in and out like that. Let's bring these curved in like that. Curve this petal in. There, because those cosmos get that nice beautiful curve to them. Let's pull in like this. 2, 3. You can pull, 5 or 6 if you want to make them more streaky. They're beautiful, and cosmos have a lot of petals too. They can go up to like 9 petals. So you can do a lot more than what I'm doing here. That way, let's curve this down in like that. Curve that in. Push in and out just a bit. So we get a little curved. I'm going to pick up just an edge here. Like that. Now I'm just, for the front petal here, I'm just going to make a couple of little marks so that you see that there's petals there, but they're actually coming towards you. So we'll leave it a little bit open there. Let's go back, grab some more color here. Turn the brush slightly onto the chisel, and as you get halfway into the petal here, lift up. So start to lift up. So pull them different lengths. Then just push in and out just a bit to shear that color just a bit, right like that. Now, you can also touch into a little bit of extender. I don't do it to blend, but this causes the color to slide. So if you're going to push in and out a bit on the, let's do 4 on this one. If you're going to push in and out, you have lots of time now, see, to push in and out and smooth it out. If you just touch into a little bit of extender here, it's not as dry, and you're using, you're able to shear the color off. It's quite a bit easier because the paint stays wet longer. But there are times where I don't like the color to stay wet, so there's all different kinds of ways. Now, for these other ones here, we want to stay a little shorter. That's going to keep this cosmos turned slightly there. So we're going to want to keep them kind of short. I'm going to turn this way, pull in towards myself. Here, let's just pull a couple of those in and push in and out a bit. You can see it's a push in and out. It brings that red right back out, see? And just push in and out a bit. Let's push another kind of longer one. Maybe there's something overlapping here. Sometimes you'll see the cosmos where the petals are, overlap each other quite a bit, and it makes the flower look almost like a, multi-petal blossom, as opposed to having some of the big areas of open areas. So they're really kind of pretty. Let's lighten up even more. Let's warm it just a touch, but nice and light. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of extender to that. I don't need too much time here. Let's pull in, not quite as far this time. Okay, and push. It puts more light out there at the tip. Let's just push some light in here. Sometimes I don't need to push. If I pull in a little too far, I'll push. But if I grab some of this color and put it on the edge of my brush and lean over to that edge, you really get some nice streaks there, and some really nice interest to that little cosmos. So use that, what we call the petal edging, even if the filbert, I edge it like that. So I pick up some paint right onto the edge, turn that edge, roll over on the edge, and you can just draw that petal like that. I'm going to turn the brush over so I get a better edge on that other side, and I'm just going to push a little bit there, like that. Now sometimes you can pull out. Like I might come in here like this and just draw this little petal pulling out like that. and put some of that light right there. That works as well. Let's just put a few little touches of light there. Now, sometimes if I feel it's like they're too samey here, I'll come back and build one like with a little more light, especially like on this side, which is kind of towards my light source. So I'll build just a bit more here, like that, just to make the petals. I like the petals to all be there a little bit more individual, all be a little bit different from each other. So I'll stroke it a couple times to build a little more color. Let's go back into this one and build that one up a bit. Here again, push in and out a couple of times. Let those streaks come in. That's what you see a lot in the Cosmos petals, a lot of streaks. So, and you can paint them like that too, multiple strokes. Let's edge over here, pick up some light on this other side, lean the brush over a bit here like that, and then let that go kind of soft. It gives a little bit more difference, and some of that green is showing through. I like that. Let's lean over and do it on this side, on this one, and let it kind of go soft there. Right in there like that. Nice variations of the petals. Let's pull out a bit, a little bit of light. I don't always paint each petal the same, because that just makes it all the same, and the flower loses interest. So I try, you know, different ways of stroking and touching them and stuff like that, and get different looks. Now, I like this little shallow look here, but I could use just the edge of the brush here like this to roll over and push that petal in a bit more there, just like that. And so there's all kinds of ways we could. So I'll come back and just look, maybe just a little edge right here will help that petal there, you know, just and push just a bit, so you get a different look to that one there. Okay, let's go with some lighter pinks. So we'll come back over here, we'll warm it up with a little naphtha red light. Let's go with a lighter pink color here and pull some of that in, leaving some of that dark through there. But let's just hit it a few times here and keep these pinks really casual. A little bit of extender that's a little bit dry right there. It gets dry, it gets hard to streak, so just put a little bit in and pull the strokes. A few strokes in. Let's let this just disappear out here to the bottom side, as this is, and maybe just a little bit of an edge, and this is fading away and disappearing down there on that one. Let's put just a couple strokes here out onto this one, so that nice turned one. It's kind of pretty. Let's lighten up here. Put maybe another one right out there, like the light kind of edge right there of that one. That's kind of nice. And we have maybe a petal here. Let's go a little darker, a little more violet, a little cooler. Put something on like that. Just like the idea, this one is beginning to open up, maybe right there. Maybe this one is too. And so you can just start and see, if you see some of that light color back there, that's kind of nice. It doesn't make the little bud quite so weak looking. Okay. So now I've got a collision between my two cosmos there in the center. So I have to decide, do I want pink on top and white? And I think I said earlier I'm going to put the white on top. So I'm just going to build this light and let those two kind of collide a little bit. But I want to see the light edge to the petal, so the light sits up on top, if that makes sense. Okay. And then you don't have, you know, the thing is about fun little paintings like this, but it's good for all artwork, really. You don't want to leave your viewer guessing what's happening. So let's put a little bit of pink into the white ones here, and that's going to cause a better harmony traveling through. let's take a little bit of that light pink and hit a little extender. Hit a bit of the edges here. So just, so you get some lightness to these little pink ones here. Now, let's come through. This is kind of pretty. Now let's come through and restate our violet into the center here. We'll push that nice dark contrast. I got a little much on my brush, so I'm going to pull some out. If you want it to streak really nice, put just a bit of extender in it. See how the streaking changes? Because it slides a little bit more, right? Now, my finger is like really dirty. I'm going to rinse this off in a little bit of water, okay? And I'm just going to follow just a bit. Boy, I tell you, I've just got dirty fingers today. Just going to put a little bit of water or a little bit of extender because it's still wet under my finger and just kind of follow the shape or that sweeping motion of those petals, and that puts that color in and out like that. Okay, let's restate the center of this one. Little bit of extender into the center there. You can put a little extender on your finger or a little bit of water, just some moisture, and just kind of follow the petals here, pushing in and out. You can do this with a brush too, but I kind of like to do it with my fingers sometimes. So let's push that nice color in there. Let's put some color into this one. Already have a little extender in the paint. I can feel it. So I don't need, I'm just going to push a little bit in and out there. That's a kind of a pretty color in and out of there. Don't need to do anything with this. Sometimes you might want to take a little bit of dark if you want some contrast and just, put a stroke or two, up into here, up into these areas, just to create contrast. But always watch your center of interest. You don't want to get anything more than what's going on in your center of interest there. Okay, now let's go to the centers here. So I'm going to take some yellow oxide. I've got to put yellow now on top of that red violet. And so I go to my yellow oxide first because it's the most opaque, and it'll sit right on top of that with no problem because it's an opaque color. Now the centers on the cosmos are smaller than what you think. They're pretty small. So we'll keep this kind of small here. Put in some of that nice yellow oxide right there into the centers. There, like that. Okay. And we can take a bit of burnt sienna if you want to soften some of that and soften right along the edges so that you get more of a light source to that. So if I want to put the light to the top, I'll just soften down with a little burnt sienna, tap into a little burnt sienna onto the sides. Let's do this lower side over here. So you see this softens that right in, makes it look like you know what you're doing. Let's add a little bit of diarylide yellow to the top part. They're more like a little button raised up, so we keep a lot of our highlights and stuff to the top rounding part here of it. But there's many different types of cosmos too, so let's put that in there like that. Okay, now let's go a little bit lighter into our Hansa. Nice bright. I'm just going to pick some up right here, and I'm going to tap that more than anything else. Just kind of tap that around here. I don't want to go everywhere because then I'll flatten out the center. So I want to think about the highlight side of the little cosmos. I want to think about the highlight. Put on a little bit heavier dose right in there. The highlight to the shadow. So here would be the light. Put on a little heavier dose. Then just use the corner of the brush and tap that down. Let's pick up a little bit more right there. And push it right in there. Tap that around. Here, let it fade out a bit. And if it doesn't fade out enough, you can go back with some yellow oxide or a little burnt sienna in your brush and just tap some of the edges there just to soften it back. It's kind of nice to have a light and dark side to the centers there. That's, going right along with your light source, coming right up from the top of it there. Okay, so now it's up to, do you want to build again some of the light petals? And it all depends on, how much you want your cosmos and stuff to come out. And, do you want to have more contrast in them? So sometimes I build them a little bit more. I might even just, hit a little bit of yellow right through like this, a little transparent, take even a little extender right with some yellow oxide, thin it out, and just hit over the surface. And this is one reason why it's kind of nice to paint acrylic, because this is already dry and I'm not moving it. I'm just tinting it lightly. Then I'll pick up some more white here, and we do what we call sink that tint. We push the light highlight right up on top of that into the petal. It's called sinking the tint into the flower, the petal. So we sink that in, maybe streak this just a bit to get a different look to those streaks. Here, out like that, just like that. Maybe this nice little edge we pull in a little further. It's kind of pretty like that. Okay, let's put a bit more right here. Sometimes I'll let the texture come up. It's nice to get a little texture into the flowers. Here, streak a little bit. You could use the edge of the brush here and streak through to give that nice veining that you see in a lot of cosmos petals. They have a lot of really lovely veining, so you can just streak a little with the edge of the brush like that and put in some veining. Here, all kinds of ways. It's fun. Here to try all different kinds of ways. Here, little edges and stuff. So there. Same thing over onto the pink one. We can push some of that in there. A little bit lighter. Here, let's go a little bit lighter than that. And that's really cool, so I should probably add just a touch more of the red to warm it up. That's kind of pretty. Don't make them too complicated. It's just a little painting here, but pick out a couple petals and pop them up a bit more. Here, a few little streaks into them. Those are pretty. When you have a real dark area like this, just use the little chisel of the brush and pull out like it's a little light edge of the petal. We put a little different color out here onto that. Here, that's kind of pretty out there like that. Makes a nice little flower. And then you have your final is if you want to, take some pine green, some burnt sienna, maybe a bit of the red violet here, nice dark, you can reset any kind of dark contrast colors that will give you more contrast in your painting. So this is like negative painting. If you've seen me do this kind of stuff before, put in I'll put in a little bit of this dark, like right around the edge of this petal here, right in through here, and pull just a little more contrast. And if that gets too dark for you, like I'll pull some in like that. Maybe I'll pull a little line in like this and do a little negative painting of that. But if that gets too dark for you, just come in and grab a bit of your pine green and your yellow like this. Make a medium, kind of brighter green, and just pull a few strokes over that as well. So you get the contrast of that dark, but then some light as well. Some nice light through some of that helps you, to get that, push that dark back away again, okay? But maybe a bit of some of this medium just kind of drug down the sides here. It's kind of nice to have some of this just to push around. I do like to do that and push around color. And then we're going to stop here, Dave, because just to push around and dance that around, it just lightens everything up a little bit like that. Okay, so you probably have just maybe a little more on the centers, and when if they dry down, you could go all the way to Hansa with a little bit of light. But they're fun little flowers. I'll paint them all different kinds of ways. Go over and search Cosmos and watch how I paint them wet into wet with the other one, and I actually take a paper towel and dig out through the background to start the flower and then paint in, and I use Diox Purple, which is a powerful color and kind of fun to paint with. So there's a lot of different ways, okay? All right, have a good day. I'll see you on the next one.